nothing to worry about.
She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
It's time for Ben's Horror Bullshit.
It's words about books, Ben.
It's words about books, Nate.
I understand we're talking about Bigfoot.
We're doing science, Nathaniel.
Okay. That never.
Are you
that
ready
never
for?
starts out well.
Are you ready for some truth? You ready to find out what the powers that be don't want you to know?
Are we taking a visit to the Skinwalker Ranch again? We're gonna find those aliens finally, and
we're
get some photographic
taking
proof.
Another visit to mostly Western Pennsylvania.
Did you buy this at that thing last year?
Maybe. I bought a lot of stuff in a lot of places. Okay. We haven't even scratched the surface of the stuff I bought. I bought every book I saw.
Oh my God.
I spent, and this is crazy because this is, now that I say it out loud, not a lot of money. I spent $60.
That's a lot of money in books. That's like a video game or not even, but in books, that's like...
If they're self-published, you get a real good deal.
Yeah, if they're self-published, you get a truck full of them.
Okay, it doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind, each of these books cost $5. So
that's still a lot of books.
Yeah,
I feel like, especially if they're all very similar.
They're not very similar.
What?
So this actually, I was prepared to laugh at this. You could go on Amazon. You can look up this book yourself. It is called Silent Invasion, the Pennsylvania UFO-Bigfoot Casebook by Stan Gordon.
Oh my God. A silent invasion of Bigfoots? Is it Bigfoots or Big Feet? I'm guessing
it's
Foots.
Bigfoots, yeah.
Okay.
Because it is one word and it's a species. Now, the thing about this book, the reason I thought it would be silly, aside from the name, is the cover image is a Bigfoot standing in front of a UFO with glowing green eyes. And it is completely blown out.
Ridiculous.
They took the image is not properly sized for the cover, which made it all the more surprising in the back of the book when I found out that somebody got paid to design this book. So yeah, Roger Marsh. I don't know if he formatted the book, but I don't know. I will say the Amazon stuff can be a little tricky. Maybe he put the image on and Amazon blew this out, but I don't know.
I don't know. I managed to do it successfully, and I mean, look at me.
I've never seen a printed copy of Edenverse.
Well, you should have received one or made one, Ben.
I'm not making one.
You should have. And you could have put it on your coffee table, or
I could have done that.
Proudly have displayed it.
Yeah,
could
have used my real name too.
Yeah,
but I didn't. So, yeah. So, Stan Gordon, I'm surprised to say, is actually a pretty grounded dude. This opens up with an admission that they recorded all of this. They did get some physical evidence, but it all came back inconclusive or known animals or human.
Okay. So we're off to a good start instead of just saying that the camera didn't work or I didn't have a camera or whatever.
No,
you gotta believe me.
He says right off the bat that he has nothing he can give you to prove to you that any of this was real.
Oh my God. He's just like John Cena. He can't give you anything to prove that he didn't take steroids, and he knows you'll never believe him.
True.
So
He's just going to admit he did steroids.
This guy's just like John Cena. All right, I'm on board.
Also, unlike a lot of books I've read, perhaps by Arthur Conan Doyle, this has a detailed appendix where he lists all the newspapers that also recorded sightings during this time that he references. He lists the paper, the date, anything you would need to go look this up yourself. He also has an index categorizing the events by time and location. And he gives resources for further reading, including resources for like understanding the geography of the area we're talking about. And all in all, it seems like a guy who is a hobbyist cryptid UFO enthusiast who really is trying his best to, if there is any proof to be had, collect it. And he's not going to lie to you if he doesn't get it.
This is impressive, actually.
I
have expected. Essentially, all the shit you keep telling me about Conan Doyle.
Doyle is Stan Gordon greater than Conan Doyle.
Ooh.
Wouldn't have, honest to God, dude, Zach Bagans greater than Conan Doyle when it comes to ghosts.
Jeez.
No, it's really bad. We haven't, the first episode is out, and we haven't scratched the surface. We haven't gotten to the straight up lies yet. I need to tell you a little bit about what Stan Gordon does and who he is. So he is something of a big deal in UFO Pennsylvania circles. It's a small pond, big fish situation, but you know,
you say it like that.
He's headed up numerous organizations in Pennsylvania. He was, I think, like the MUFON director for Pennsylvania.
The what?
Mutual UFO Network.
Oh, okay.
It's a
you can't throw terms around like that as if I would know what that is. Ben.
Citizen scientists who investigate UFOs. They will give you a badge, and you can go to a crime scene. And you can try to force your way in there. Yeah.
How do I get in on this so I too can get a badge?
I think you give them $150.
Ooh, that cheap, huh?
Yeah.
Shit, man, I might have to get in on this. This sounds great. Do I have to do anything afterwards, or do I just like donate and then like I get my badge?
You get your badge.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm liking this.
Yeah. But Stan Gordon, he for work, because obviously the Bigfoot research isn't paying the bills. He is like an electronics guy.
And then the money's gonna come flooding in. He's an electronics guy?
He's an electronics guy.
So he will never give the excuse of, well, they use their magic alien powers so that I couldn't work the camera.
No, he does not give that excuse.
Okay.
He will also tell you that the cases in this book are significantly whittled down from the sheer number of cases that he researched. And he will say that 9 times out of 10, it is explainable. He said, for example, like a lot of UFO reports came in on a night that Jupiter was particularly bright. And
yeah,
it's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Jupiter always be doing that shit.
Yeah. So, but you know, it protects us from asteroids sometimes.
Could have fooled me. Apparently we have a second moon right now, Ben.
I also heard we have a ring because of all our satellites.
Well, I mean, that's not Jupiter's fault, but we have an asteroid that's orbiting our planet as if it were, if it thinks it's a big shot, think it could be a second moon, but it's not, Ben.
No.
Where was Jupiter on that one?
Let one slip through.
Typical
I know.
Jupiter.
I know. They should be doing better.
No wonder it was named after Zeus. Fucking off somewhere.
So
doing his job anyway.
at this point in time, Stan Gordon, he's pretty handy with electronics, radios, phone lines, that sort of thing. And the time period we're talking about here is 1973 to 1974. So he is one of the few people who has figured out how to do this neat little trick. He has a little bit of a communications hub set up in his home. He has radio, limited broadcast. He has a phone line that is a separate phone line from his house that people can call into. You know, these are unusual things for 73. And he heads up a volunteer organization which has the unfortunate name of the Westmoreland County UFO Study Group, or as referred to throughout the rest of the book, WCUFOSG.
WCUFOSG?
The WCUFOSG, yes.
The Wikovsk?
Yeah.
We need to workshop that one. We need
I think we should have just called it Westmoreland County UFO.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Study group is good too. You want
Kufo?
You want a college vibe for this. So Stan Gordon, he is involved in the community enough that, and this is a small town. I have actually been to all of the places mentioned in this book. And I have driven through the town where Stan Gordon lived. And especially in 73, it was you could know your neighbors, let's say. So
They might go to a McDonald's and see that you're not one of them, and then tip off the wrong person and not.
What is you? Did you just like check in on Luigi Mangione?
No,
like what's going on here?
I don't know, Ben. I don't know why that came to mind.
No, this wasn't in Altoona. This was in more out towards Greensburg, which is outside of Pittsburgh.
Greensburg. Okay.
Yeah. So
got some creative names over there.
There's a lot of burgs. Hollidaysburg, which is right near where they got Luigi Mangione. But anyway, he has an in with the 911 dispatch.
I'm sorry.
It's going to come up. He references this throughout the story. Like, this is not unusual, but he has, I guess, through his connections, the cops know about him. They know about this group. He has 911 dispatch, knows about it, knows the line for his thing. And here's what happens. This is how this guy gets most of these cases. Once this UFO thing really takes off, so there's a few sightings at the beginning of 1973, and then there's a lot of sightings, and then it gets a ton of press attention, and then the Bigfoot sightings start, and that gets a ton of press attention, and so people just, the calls become overwhelming. And a lot of people are calling the cops. And the cops start, whenever they get a Bigfoot call, they don't tell people, piss off. They tell people, call Stan Gordon. He investigates this. He specializes in this.
Yeah. Hey, you know who would really like to hear this? Not me. Here's this guy, though.
But you know what, Nate? I kind of like this because we keep having this talk about, like, you know, police shouldn't be dealing with everything. We shouldn't call the cops for literally everything. They're not trained for this. They're trained to deal with.
Sometimes they don't deal with anything.
Well, they're trained to deal with crimes.
I learned that there were so many murders in Florida, and I think it was the 70s, that, you know, they just didn't investigate sometimes because they were so booked.
You're right. So they're trained to deal with crimes. You know, they show up, they're just going to start shooting people. You don't want to call the cops for everything.
I do want them to shoot a Bigfoot and then bring it back.
You're going to be pretty happy with the people of Pennsylvania.
Okay, all right.
We really tried to kill Bigfoot. We tried damn hard to kill Bigfoot.
Now, is this an actual animal, or is this a being that comes in through the fog from another dimension, like in the last book?
So we're gonna get into both sides of that coin.
Okay.
Stan Gordon will tell you he doesn't know if all of the stories are true, and he will say he doesn't have any evidence for them, so you have to, believe what you want. But if all of the stories are true, some of these do indicate some like high strangeness. But he said for most of the when there's a big instance of like UFO reporting, like a bunch of UFOs are seen in an area over a period of time, that's called a flap.
Why?
I don't know, actually.
Like a tear in reality, and it flaps open.
I have no idea what the logic is. Somebody please tell me in the comments.
Flap.
Like a butt flap, but
like
a UFO flap. So during this particular flap,
you stay away from my UFO flap. That's for my wife only.
I'm sure. No one's gonna infringe on Caitlin's rights there. During this particular flap, for most of it, he was convinced that we were dealing with some unidentified animal. But it gets weirder. Now, I do have to point out, it gets weirder as time goes on and the story becomes hyped up and in all the newspapers and on all the radio shows, and the idea gets planted in people's minds. It is unfortunate that, like, for the first couple sightings, it's kind of interesting that people are seeing the same thing. People who didn't know about each other are seeing the same thing. But then as it goes on, people know the description of the creature, and it kind of poisons.
And then he shows up in a beef jerky commercial, and it's like, oh, I guess it's just a thing now. It's
the Pennsylvania Bigfoot of the 1973 to 74 flap is not your average Bigfoot.
This is dealing with the average Bigfoot warrior.
No, you're not. You're dealing with a supranormal Bigfoot warrior.
Oh my God.
So that's what's going on. The WCU FOSG, they've got an in with the first responders. And whatever they don't want to deal with, they unload on Stan Gordon, who is more than happy to go out and make these people feel heard, which seems to be that if he did nothing else, he provided that service. There are a lot of people who were very freaked out, very emotionally vulnerable, and Stan made them feel like somebody was doing something about this. Is undermined somewhat by the fact that all the physical evidence fell through, and he admits he does not know what the hell happened, but he did investigate.
They went back through the flap.
We're going to talk about that. So first, what happens? Early 1973. So really from like about January to end of July. Rash of UFO sightings. They're all across Pennsylvania, mostly concentrated in western Pennsylvania. And interestingly enough, I think this is what my grandmother saw.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is partly why I bought this book. So my grandmother does not believe in aliens, does not believe in ghosts, doesn't care about any of this stuff. She's pretty serious-minded when it comes to that. She claims she saw a ball of light in the sky, and the dogs freaked out.
You mentioned this when we were talking about Skinwalker, right?
Yeah, I did. So, and it was in the paper the next day. She was not the only one to see it. She didn't call in anywhere. She just saw it, and she brought the dogs in. She thought it was very strange. It was some ball of light in the sky. She couldn't say for certain if it was like
Get your gun.
My grandma has shot at things, so she's Pennsylvania is not going to disappoint you on this. My grandma, I don't know if my mom made her get rid of the gun, but my grandma, until very recently had a gun in her retirement community.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
she
maybe
doesn't.
not for the retirement.
Well, she
community.
doesn't see so
might.
good, so no, not nice.
Yeah.
I could imagine my grandmother. I just start blasting. But no. So that's actually what a lot of people saw. They saw lights in the sky. It's some people see what seems to be a machine with windows or guide lights on it, like it has red blinking lights, which is always an interesting thing when you hear about UFOs because you kind of wonder, like, I know why an airplane has those lights. It's to signal to other airplanes. Why would a UFO have those blinking lights?
To signal to your dog to get the fuck back inside.
Well, so that to me that indicates, like, could it be some sort of like military aircraft or some sort of aircraft people just haven't seen before?
Well, let's ask Trump. I'm sure he'll declassify it if we just ask him.
We
nice.
are in the age of disclosure, my friend.
Yeah.
You know, that is the one thing that these assholes can agree on, is that we need to tell the American people more about UFOs. Maybe that'll shut them up.
Yeah, can I go to Area 51?
No.
Oh.
No, they'll shoot you.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, they had to a bunch of those people who were going to storm Area 51, they had to be kind of serious about that. We will kill you. But I'm going to be honest with you, the UFO portion of this book it's interesting. It's interesting in the sense that what people see varies incredibly wildly. There's dozens and dozens of accounts throughout the book of the UFOs. Probably the most typical UFO scene is the ball of light that animals react negatively to. And it's a ball of light that is not a star. It moves across the sky and changes direction randomly in the way. And so it's not like
airplane pilots have talked about that too.
Yeah. So people are seeing that. And, you know, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's aliens or something, but it does sort of seem like there is some phenomena that does that in the sky. So you see a lot of that. We also get descriptions of the kind of Tic Tac UFO, the cigar-shaped UFO. It looks so much like a blimp that cops are actually calling in to, you know, air traffic control. Like, is there a blimp in the area? And people see sometimes on these like Tic Tac UFOs, they see windows and they think they see beings inside of it. The size estimates vary wildly to the point where I kind of just throw them out because I don't know. Like, if I'm looking at an airplane in the sky, I have no idea how high in the sky that is or how big the airplane is.
You take a picture, you measure it, and then you're like, okay, how far away is it based on how big it is in this picture?
I could do that, I guess, if I knew how big the airplane was.
Yeah, that is important.
Which I don't know if I.
So maybe
if it's
you
an airplane I've
also
never
know
seen
the
before.
UFO size and dimensions beforehand.
Yeah, that
what
would
about
help.
Flying saucers, Ben?
Not a lot of disc-shaped craft. There's a couple of
how
domes.
Did we get onto that as like the UFO?
Oh, I'm
design?
talking specifically about the Pennsylvania sightings. The flying saucer was like the Roswell stuff.
So they went. So those aliens went to New Mexico, and different aliens and Bigfoot came to Pennsylvania.
Well, so one of the most interesting sightings that pops up a lot, and there are multiple witnesses of each sighting. Like, you get people are pulling off the highway to stare at these things, and like lines of cars pull off the highway. Groups of people get out of their cars and stare at them.
You can stare at it while you drive.
They want a better look. And some of these, it's like a ball of light. And then sometimes like other smaller balls of light break off and go in different directions. Sometimes they seem to be scanning for something. Sometimes like a spotlight drops down and it looks around and then they move off. And there's a lot of that weird behavior where it really seems like there is some kind of search or survey or something going on. They're looking at a wide patch of ground. And when they land, they become like a dome shaped thing. There's like a dome of light. And sometimes people see figures going in or out of it. And
So let's go kick their ass. Let's go. If they're landing, that means they're vulnerable.
So most of these sightings are occurring from people on the highway. And they describe the UFOs as moving like very fast. So they're traveling like miles in a couple of minutes. So
well, how do we know they're landing then if they're traveling that far away?
Some people see the landing from a distance. But it's over and gone by the time anybody could get there. Certainly by the time Stan Gordon can get there, to his frustration.
Do they ever see the liftoff?
Not really.
So they land, and then they find no evidence of the landing.
They do find burned ground at a couple of locations.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that goes on until about mid-July 1973, or about end of July 1973. And that's when we start to get Bigfoot. So the first sightings, you may remember something like this from not Skinwalker Ranch, but the Goblin Universe. There was a story that reminded me very much. In fact, I kind of wondered if he was talking to the same person. So there are people standing in their house, in a room, looking out the window, and they see red, glowing eyes.
Oh yeah, this
staring back in at them. Yes, and we get almost the exact same story.
Get your gun.
I'll tell you about some people who get their guns. This person didn't get their gun. They were thinking they were seeing like death. Like they thought they were seeing a ghost. They said
aliens is one thing, Ben, but ghosts, get out.
The dogs were going nuts. You know, this is why I said I wondered if it was the same story, because it's a very similar story to the one we heard. So, he was in the bathroom, and I washed and I shaved and I combed my hair. I had some iced tea in a little jar. I'm putting on my slippers and I start sniffling to beat hell. I said, what the hell could that be? It smelled like something, like a foul odor of some kind of cucumber or something. That's not how anyone else describes the odor. I don't know what this guy thinks cucumbers smell like.
A disgusting cucumber.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever smelled. Does a cucumber have a distinct smell?
I think so, but it usually smells
it tastes like
fresh
water
to me. Yeah, like there's just a slight hint of
it also smells a little bit like disappointment. Like, oh, my sushi roll is just stuffed with garbage. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe he
thought I was here for fish and rice, not
maybe this guy's
trash.
Allergic to disappointment.
Oh,
which is going to be tough living in Western PA. So he puts the towel up against his face. He takes it away, and he sees two shining eyes right in front of him. He got scared. He puts the window down. His tea is on the windowsill, or his tea is on the windowsill. It falls, hits the floor. The dark eyes appeared large and glowed red. The eyes appeared near the center of the window. Upon investigation, is that really how this goes? Upon investigation, the bathroom window was found to be over 8 feet off the ground. The family dogs were tied outside at the time. The family members thought it was odd that the dogs, who frequently barked, were silent this evening. Other people in the house also smelled the foul odor that night. One boy said that it smelled like sulfur to him. Now, see, that's an actual disgusting smell. This kid is on the ball. I don't know what cucumber guy
It
is on.
smells like sulfur, yeah, and cucumbers, right? Anyone else? Anyone else?
The day after the incident, the witness had trouble breathing and was taken by ambulance for medical treatment. That man felt that the uncanny episode may have triggered his medical condition. So we start to get more and more Bigfoot sightings. People are starting to have animals acting weird. They're noticing this strange smell. They see glowing, fiery eyes looking at them from the woods. We get a description that I'm going to generalize here.
Okay.
The Bigfoot typically has glowing eyes, almost always red or orange, sometimes green.
Okay.
It is 5 to 8 feet tall. Multiple creatures can be seen together sometimes, and they can range in heights.
Well, yeah, you just had 5 to 8 feet.
Unlike the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot, the Pennsylvania Bigfoot,
There's a different species of Bigfoot.
this Bigfoot has 3 toes.
Oh my god.
They find the same giant footprints everywhere, but they're 3-toed. 3 big honking toes.
So we have footprints. So we do have physical
We
evidence.
have footprints. The footprints are interesting in that Stan will say later that it's weird where they find footprints sometimes. At first, they're getting them in places that make sense, but later on, they'll have like wet ground, perfect for taking footprints. And they'll only have like 1 or 2 footprints that seem to come from nowhere and vanish into nowhere.
And it's not just a person at that point.
My thought was the guy faking the footprints was getting a little lazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thought when you say it had 3 toes.
Well, I think honestly, I think that's a point in favor of it not being fake. Because wouldn't you fake 5 toes?
I wouldn't. I'm lazy.
I don't know. If somebody chose to fake a 3-toed footprint, that's weird. That's very like I'd love to know the rationale for that. Maybe they fucked up the mold or something and they just didn't want to redo it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
But yeah, I don't the footprints aren't super powerful evidence to me. But the Bigfoots also have brown to black hair, except for a few that are white.
The Bigfoot elders.
It could be a Sasquatch elder. Yes. They have the hair is long, often like described as being like 6 inches long and all over the body. The face is always described as ugly with a flat nose.
Wow.
Interesting
He
other
can't
distinction.
help how he looks.
Interesting other distinction. Pointed ears.
Oh, okay, so they're elves. They're just left over. This is what
Could
happens
be.
when they remain in our age too long.
They turn into
They
giant
turn into Bigfoot.
told,
Yeah.
told me it was a little off on that fading part. I will diminish and turn into a honking monster. No.
Yeah.
They have pointed ears, often described as having large canines, like fangs. I would say that gorillas also look like they have fangs to me, like gorillas have large canines. Enough that I remember distinctly once looking up, why do gorillas have such big canine teeth? If they
All
only...
the better to eat you with, my dear.
Well, yeah, that's why I was like, if they only eat plants, why do they have these teeth? And it turns out it is for fighting each other.
Yeah. You didn't see that clip from Joe Rogan about monkeys biting the shit out of each other?
You're going to have to be a lot more specific. But that used to be why I listened to that show. Back when he used to just talk about elk meat and the proportional strength of a chimp to a human, that's what I was there for. Then he got weird. I mean, I guess you could say he started weird, but then he got the wrong kind of weird.
Yeah, he's no longer your kind of weird.
No. So there's always a powerful sulfurous smell.
Or maybe cucumber, Ben.
Or maybe cucumber. It's also described as smelling like rot or death.
Or cucumber.
Or cucumber.
These all...
I said everybody describes it as either not having a smell or having this terrible smell, except this one guy who said it smelled like cucumber. I don't know what... I think that's him. To be fair, he may have been having a stroke. And the vocalizations they make, many people stumble into a Bigfoot when they go outside to investigate what sounds to them like a baby crying.
Why?
It sounds like a baby screaming. And they go outside.
I'm sorry. Where are these sightings? Are these in the middle of like nowhere? Like you're on your 20-acre plot in the forest or whatever?
Yeah, perhaps you're unfamiliar with Western Pennsylvania. Yes,
Yeah.
outside of Pittsburgh, there is pretty much nothing. It's coal mines and woods.
Yeah, I if I'm hearing a baby screaming at that late hour in the middle of nowhere, I'm not going outside. That sounds like a bad time.
So Bigfoot, a lot of these sightings do occur on country roads, farms. There is a mall that sees a lot of Bigfoot activity. I forget what the mall is called, but it is the mall is located near some woods. So it does seem like the Bigfoots are using the woods as a way to get around unseen. There are, and now if you laugh, you're classist.
Okay.
The Bigfoots do also seem to be mostly seen in trailer parks.
I couldn't help it.
Now, there's an interesting thing with the Bigfoot stuff.
So they're seen out in the middle of nowhere and also in trailer parks.
Trailer parks are often kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
They're not like adjacent to businesses. You're not just like driving down Main Street and then like, oh, there's a trailer park. Trailer parks tend to be kind of out of the way. The weird thing is Bigfoot seems to have a fascination with aluminum siding.
Okay.
So a lot of the Bigfoots that are seen around mobile homes or even farms, they seem to pry up aluminum siding. They attack air conditioners. They're interested in this metal that's sticking off of the house. One Bigfoot lifts an entire mobile home off of its blocks, and they do find the mobile home shifted off of the blocks.
But did he put it back down then?
He puts it back down, but not in the same spot.
Why did he lift it or put it back down? Why not take it with you?
Well, that's the enigma of the Bigfoot.
You said some people have gone for their gun when they run into creepy red eyes?
Okay, you want to hear a gun story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it going to be disappointing like the Skinwalker Ranch where he shot at it and it just kept walking like he wasn't even there?
So there is one guy. I don't have this story ready. I didn't mark this one, but there is one guy who he says he gets a piece of the Bigfoot. He shoots at the Bigfoot with, I believe, a 22, which he doesn't think is going to do a lot of damage to a creature of this size. But he shoots at the Bigfoot with his 22, and he gets a chunk of it. I can usually scan for, because they always mention the caliber of their gun. Okay. So August 27th, 1973, 10 p.m. Man shot at creature. That evening, back at Kingston, a small community between Derry and Latrobe, a man and his nephew were taking a walk down a country road, anticipating some target shooting with a .22 rifle. Some other boys came running over, telling the two fellows that they had found some large footprints back in the woods. The man was skeptical, but said he would go take a look. Later that evening, the man noticed something in the distance running across a field and told his nephew he was going to see what it was. He told his nephew to go into the house and get a flashlight, which the man took the flashlight and went into the field. He saw a tall black creature running amongst some trees. He shined the light around and then into the trees where he could see shining eyes. The witness told me that the eyes were in between the trees, not up in the trees. And as soon as the light would hit the eyes, it would seem that the creature would turn its head. At that time, the witness noticed a faint smell like someone had broken rotten eggs. The man admitted he was scared. Fortunately, he had his gun. Then his light caught the creature. The head of the animal touched a high limb of one of the trees. Suddenly, the creature took 2 steps back from the man, and he fired rounds from his .22 at the beast. He was unsure if he actually hit it, but after he fired, the creature went down on all fours for a second, then stood back up on 2 legs and ran into the woods. The witness told me that the creature ran, quote, really fast and did not make a sound when it was shot. The witness knew a local person who was involved with, quote, the Bigfoot Patrol. The group searched the area but did not find a body. That was not the one I was thinking of. There is one where a guy shoots a Bigfoot on the road and they think they get some blood. Spoiler, you do have to wait to the end of the book to find out what the analysis of the blood was. Not blood.
What was it?
Saliva?
Huh? Like he thought the blood was clear or something?
No, it was not clean saliva. So it was saliva, and it looked from analysis to be that of a bear.
Okay.
So he may have shot a bear. We do have black bears. So, and they can stand on 2 legs. They don't often run on 2 legs. If they did, I don't think it would be, quote, really fast, but, you know, they're big.
Do they have glowing red eyes? Can they give people heart attacks?
If you're scared enough, they probably.
Yeah, I mean, I would be. If it's black, attack. If it's brown, lie down.
There is another story. I almost hesitate to tell this one because this one gets crazy. So they get a call from the state police that there's some Bigfoot stuff going on. The state police had a guy come in, super rattled, super shaken up, named Steve. I believe Steve is an alias to protect the man's identity. And Steve is really shaken up. He just saw the monster. At about 9 p.m., Steve and his wife, this is on, sorry, just in case you needed to know, this is on October 25th, 1973, at, 9 p.m. So they were driving out to visit some family when they saw a round object, red in color and at least as big as a barn, a UFO. The strange spherical object appeared to be hovering about 100 feet above the ground. The couple reached the farmhouse and they realized that other family members were already watching the UFO from the porch. There were a total of about 15 people who wound up watching this UFO. It was just a large red sphere that hovered there for a while. So Steve jumps into his pickup truck and drives around to try to get a better view of the object. And these two neighbor boys went back with Steve to the farmhouse, determined to investigate the strange light. But proceeding toward the field where the object appeared to have landed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Before proceeding toward the field where the object appeared to have landed, Steve went into the farmhouse and grabbed a 30-06 rifle, along with some ammunition. Now, this is important. The total ammo consisted of 6 rounds, of which 2 were only tracers.
Okay.
So the dogs all around this area were unusually upset. They were barking loudly. They were, very agitated. And Steve could hear in the distance a loud, odd whirring sound, somewhat similar to a lawnmower, which in my opinion does not make a whirring sound. A lawnmower is more like, but whatever. So they drive up in the truck. He's got a big old gun, and they notice that the headlights, as they approach this craft, are dimming, like it's draining the energy from around them. The boys make it into the field where the farm animals graze, and they stood there in disbelief at the strange sight in front of them. About 250 feet away was a huge luminous object which appeared on the ground or just above it. The object was no longer round nor red, but now appeared to be a bright white domed structure with a somewhat flat base. They now realized that the loud whirring sound was coming from that very object. The object was estimated to be about 100 feet in diameter, and the light emanating from it lit up the surrounding area. There was also an odd smell, something like
cucumbers, perhaps.
burning rubber.
Oh. All right. I mean, that's kind of like cucumbers.
The sight of the glowing object frightens the 3 observers, but then their attention is drawn to the fence about 70 feet away. Now, walking along, or from the direction of the fence, they start hearing the wailing baby cries.
Oh my God. Never get between a Bigfoot and its cubs. That will increase the risk of a heart attack.
I mean, it's probably good advice. Like, I'm going to say, if you see a Bigfoot and you see Bigfoot cubs, that's probably good advice. So they look to where they're hearing this wailing baby sound, and walking along the 6-foot-high barbed wire fence were 2 very tall, dark figures that were moving slowly toward the observers. As the witnesses watched, their first thought was that they were bears. Now, that would not have been unprecedented if there were to be a bear. It would be odd for it to be walking on 2 legs and standing 6 feet high, but it's possible, I guess. But as they continued to watch, they realized that the creatures were very tall and covered from head to toe with brownish grayish hair, some of which was hanging from their bodies.
Salt and pepper. They're not quite the bear elders, but they're, give it a few decades.
The first 2 beasts were estimated to stand over 8 feet high, while the other creature was about 7 feet high. Oh, this is another thing that comes up a lot too. There was no neck visible to the creatures. They seemed to walk around like hunched. So
they're so jacked.
Yeah, no, they're actually described as being like very tall, super broad-shouldered. But the physical trait that really drew the attention was the bright, glowing green eyes of the beasts. And the eyes were described as being about the size of a 50-cent piece. The creatures were very rigid in their movements. They were wailing loudly as they proceeded, and they took long strides, quickly closing the distance. When the largest creature reached the next fence post, it would bellow forth with a crying sound, as if telling the other creature to move forward. The smaller creature appeared to have to take very long strides to keep up with the larger one. And so it seems to be leading this smaller creature. This could be a Bigfoot and its cubs situation. So now the three observers are trying to figure out what is going on and what to do.
Open fire.
So unfortunately,
Sort it out later.
one of the three observers, so we have a man and two boys here. One of these boys is 10 years old and perhaps makes the wisest choice of his life and gets the fuck out of there. He just bolts. And that's when Steve loads his weapon.
Yeah, let's do it, Steve.
The other boy, he literally says Steve loaded his weapon, encouraged by the other boy. So one boy ran away, and the other boy's like, I want to see something die tonight, Steve. You see these walking bipedal creatures that seem to communicate with one another and have some kind of rich social life? Shoot in its fucking face, Steve. Take it the fuck out.
Kill the parent first. That way it doesn't have to live with the dead child.
A child should never outlive its parent, so you got to kill the parents first. Steve's first volley was a tracer bullet. Whoops. Which he fired over the two creatures. That got him distracted. Now he can hit him in the back. When the second shot, also a tracer. My bad. Still just
Stop firing tracers,
still
you
just
dumbass.
There was a remarkable response from the larger being. The creature made a brief whine, then raised its right arm and reached toward the luminous tracer round as if to grab it. But what occurred next was the most amazing of all. At exactly the same time that the creature grabbed for the tracer, the huge, brilliant domed object vanished from sight. The object did not lift from the ground and move off. It just vanished. And at that point, the two noticed a strange glow on the area of the ground where the object had been located. As the creatures started to move off, apparently off-put by the fact that they are being shot at, Steve unloads.
Hell yeah. We're done with those tracer rounds. It's time for murdering.
He fired 3 rounds and felt certain that he had hit the larger creature at least once, but there was no sign that either creature was harmed. Steve recalled how the creatures turned their head in his direction, giving him a good look at their luminous green eyes. Both of them began to feel eye irritation at this time. Steve had been hunting for years, and he could not understand why the creatures had not been stopped. The witnesses ran back. This is when they get the cops to come in. The cop goes and he looks at where this dome was supposed to have been. And he sees the glow on the ground. And he says it was glowing brightly enough that he could have read a newspaper by its light. He didn't really know what to do, so he calls in the WCUFOSG.
That is a very bad acronym.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
terrible. So then they're going to go back. The WCUFOSG is going to go back and look at the farm, and they ask the state trooper, are you coming too? And he's like, I've got work in the morning. I'm out. And that's how spooked he was by all this. But before they leave, they're looking around and they are looking at the glow, and the cop shines his light at something that catches his ear, and it's one of the creatures, and it charges at them, and Steve loads his last bullet.
I was wondering why he didn't fire that earlier.
And he shoots this creature, and the creature runs smack into the fence. And then it seems to fall down, lose its balance, and gets caught on the fence a little bit. And then having been out of bullets, they run away.
Go kick its ass. Come on, it's inside of a fence. You could do this. Start pistol whipping him.
Steve's out of bullets, and the cop doesn't have a duty to protect. So they check in with Steve, and they go to investigate this. They go back with Steve, and they're looking at everything, and they take out their tape recorders, and they actually get a recording of this wailing sound. So they do
Okay.
have this baby crying sound. Now, I'm going to point out that there are creatures in Pennsylvania that make a similar noise. We don't have
So
mountain
the creature
lions.
was still nearby.
That's the implication. Now, so we don't have mountain lions or anything, but like we do have bobcats and stuff that make that noise.
So okay, so hold on. Who has the tape recorder?
So this is the WCUFOSG guys. They got the tape recorder.
They arrived after the police. Were they
Left.
there when the creature charged?
No, they were not there.
So they arrived well after the creature had charged, and the noise is still there. So the creature is nearby.
It seems that way.
Let's go get him.
The WCUFOSG.
All we have to do is get on the other side of a fence, and this thing is toast.
So the WCUFOSG does not carry guns, usually.
Okay, well, I can already see a flaw in their plan.
And they kind
You're
of
dealing
other
with Bigfoots
other
who can cause
Pennsylvanians
heart
point that out
attacks.
to them. Other people are surprised they showed up to investigate without a gun. If you got a MUFON badge, you better have a MUFON gun, a MUFON issued service revolver. But alas, this is a volunteer organization. They also kind of insisted that Tom not walk behind them with a loaded rifle. We'll talk about why that might be in a few minutes.
No. Absolutely not. I saw this thing and you didn't. I'm carrying a weapon. Eat my ass.
So they're looking around and they notice there's a bull that the family on the farm owns, and it is huddled deep into the corner of the pasture. It is scared of something, and this is a
bull?
behavior that they have observed from farm animals in the past. Farm animals are terrified of these things, and they're walking along the fence looking for hair that might have, because it ran into a barbed wire fence. They're like, there's got to be some hair samples or something. They're looking for hair. They're looking for footprints. And then it was about that time something else quite strange occurred. They begin to smell it.
Yeah, so it's nearby. He still has that rifle, right? Don't listen to that one guy who doesn't want you to have the rifle. Have the rifle.
There's an extremely loud, inhuman scream. It's coming from Steve.
What?
He falls face down on the ground. He's rolling around, screaming. Something horrible is happening to him. They try to get to him and help him.
Wait, is Steve not with them?
No, Steve's with them. I mean, he was walking right next to him, and then he just goes down.
Okay.
Steve, they try to he's like flopping all around, and they try to be like, "Hey, man, come on, just stand up. It's okay, man. It's gonna be all right." And then Steve,
and then he has their eyes, and he's a Bigfoot now.
Well, Steve just breaks out, knocks both of the people trying to help him up to the ground, and the one, quote, remembered thinking, "Thank God we made them keep their rifles away." They did not want people who were seeing Bigfoots to carry guns behind them. I don't know why. And so Steve is just freaking out. His hands are clenched tightly into fists. They try to get him to open his hands. He won't move them. He's not really talking. And then suddenly he comes back to his senses. He doesn't really remember what happened, but what he remembers is that while he was in that fugue state, he saw a man-like figure, cloaked in a black robe and a black hat and carrying a sickle. The apparition conveyed to Steve that the world would end if mankind did not change its ways. Steve later talked about a vision of the world burning. Steve was not a religious person, so these comments were out of place.
No, he was a
for him.
climatologist. Turns out there's a lot of methane that we didn't account for, and a lot of CO2 inside of frozen bacteria, and that shit's thawing. So, whoops.
After this event, Steve, and he's not the only one. There are other people who report that coming into contact with these Bigfoot creatures seem to unlock some sort of ESP
No, it didn't.
power in them. They claim to have dreams that come true. They occasionally get like visions of the future. I mean, kind of like everybody. Like I've read books on this.
I also have
exact
felt
thing.
like I have had dreams that have come true.
Exactly.
Or I'm in a situation where I'm like, whoa, have I been here before?
Exactly. You have multiple dreams every night. Sometimes some of them are similar to what happens in your daily life. It'd be weirder if they weren't. I mean, you don't typically dream about things that are entirely unrelated or off the wall, like, and you don't pay attention to the thousands of dreams you have that didn't come true. It's a common thing. And it is one thing that these books point out, and this is the one criticism I'd lob at Stan Gordon. I do think Stan Gordon's a nice guy, and he's probably trying to believe people. He knows that they're very upset by what they went through. He knows that they're not lying. But I think you can be just a touch delusional and not lying. I think you can believe it, but also it's not real. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of these people, because you'll see in book after book that people try to make some connection, like a Skinwalker Ranch connection, where it's like all paranormal stuff seems to go hand in hand. The same people who see UFOs are the same people who see Bigfoot, who think they have ESP. And it's like, yeah, they're suggestible people with active imaginations. Like, you know, it's not, there's another explanation for why it's the same people, and it's not that they're connected events. It's that the common denominator is that person is easily influenced to believe things are happening to them. But yeah, Stan's not going to say that. But again, I think that's why also people would trust Stan Gordon with their stories and maybe not trust me with their stories. So I'm going to, make fun of you on a podcast, I guess. But I didn't see this guy. He might have been genuinely upset. And I think I believe him. I believe he doesn't want this and he's not getting a kick out of it. But therefore Bigfoot, that's not necessarily where I go.
Yeah, we already found Bigfoot. He advertises Jack Wings beef jerky.
Well, that's the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot.
Oh, that's right. So the Pacific Northwest Bigfoot sold out, but the Pennsylvania
Bigfoot. Three-toed Bigfoot remains true.
Okay.
Now they do also find some five-toed footprints. Stan Gordon very generously. Yeah, they do catch a mold of each. Stan, to his credit, doesn't put a lot on these molds. There's another interesting thing that's kind of going on in the background of all these stories too, is that they collect physical evidence. They get some hair samples, and the WCUFOSG, it's a distributed network. And so Stan will dispatch people to locations. He doesn't always go himself. And one of the people he dispatched collected some hair samples, and they wanted to get the samples analyzed. So they contacted, I guess, a mammal scientist at Carnegie University. And the guy was like, yeah, I'll check it out. I'm interested enough in this to run an analysis on it. And so Stan's like, okay, yeah, mail me the samples, dude, and I'll send them on to Carnegie. And he mails some of the sample. He keeps some of it. And it never gets to Stan. None of the letters get to Stan from this guy. Almost like someone in the post office is just purposely losing them. And
Oh my God, Bigfoot works in the post office.
And so eventually they do get the hair analyzed. They do send it on to Carnegie. Comes back human. Spoilers.
Maybe Bigfoot is a human, Ben.
That was going to be. Fortunately, Stan doesn't go there, but that was my.
Maybe Bigfoot is from the future.
Well, have you ever seen?
And is an evolved version of a human.
Here's a wacky, like wild out there theory. Have you ever seen the reports of feral children?
Yeah.
Where
maybe thinking of different,
like children who are like lost in the jungle and manage to survive from a very young age. And they they find that like some of those kids, they actually like grow more body hair, and like there's like sort of like what happens to pigs when they get loose, like they develop more traits of a boar. Like humans can actually do some of that too. Like if we're exposed to the elements constantly, like our body responds in a particular way, like for instance growing more hair. I kind of wondered, like, I could easily believe there's feral mountain people in Appalachia.
If anything, I can't believe of any other type of person. From what I've heard.
Yeah. So like in the hills of Appalachia, I've been there, I've driven through them, and I've gotten uncomfortable. And I could totally believe.
You don't go off the trail.
No, the hill folk will take you.
You do not go off of the trail.
No, and sometimes if the trail's looking sus, like there's a dude who has been writing, he's on the Appalachian Trail, and he's just writing screeds of like religious-y bullshit on everything. Like you'll be walking down the Appalachian Trail and all of a sudden you'll see a rock just covered with insane ramblings about the government and the end of days and everything. And like there was water bottles hanging from trees with all this writing on it. And it's like, you just go back to your car. You don't try to hike through the crazy. You just go back to your car. But that's what I could believe like some of these Bigfoot sightings are. They could be feral people who just happen to be really hairy. Whatever. There's another instance where a woman hits a Bigfoot with her car. It disappears. There's back to the Men in Black.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. What?
Yeah.
What?
Put a pin in that. We're gonna rewind a step because I was in the Men in Black thing. So there's another thing that goes on where some of the people Stan interviews. He'll go back to interview them again. And he'll ask them like follow-up questions like, oh, you found like this footprint or this sample. Can I take a look at it? And they're like, again? And he's like, what do you mean again? And they'll say like, well, didn't you send somebody out here last week? Stan didn't send anybody out there.
Bigfoot works at the post office.
Somebody has been going around to interview these witnesses saying that they're with the UFOsg, and they are not. They're with the UFOsg. Now, there's two possibilities here. Well, there's three possibilities. One, they're just making this up. Two, some guy just thought it would be funny to say he was from the UFOsg and get the story. Or three, it's the Men in Black.
Conspiracy.
Now, Stan doesn't put a ton on that, but he points out that this happens and it's weird. I could think of a plausible way that it both happened and is not weird, and that is just people screwing with Stan. Like, or these people, it's like we all know that lady saw Bigfoot. I'm going to have my friend put on a suit and pretend to be one of the guys and interview her.
Who would do such a thing? In an age when you couldn't film that for reactions and clicks, Ben?
Well, you couldn't film it for reactions and clicks, but you could put it on the news or write a thing for your stupid indie magazine.
For the lulz?
People have been doing it for the lulz for years.
Been doing it for probably since the dawn of time, Ben.
But back to the crazy nonsense. There's a woman who hits a Bigfoot with her car. And as soon as the car makes contact, the Bigfoot vanishes.
Okay.
There's also people who see the red eyes glowing from the trees. And then all of a sudden, they disappear and they're in another spot further away or on the other side of the road. And there's just no way that the Bigfoot could have gotten there without crossing in front of these people. Might the Bigfoot have the power to phase in and out of our reality?
God damn it.
Might that somehow be connected to the UFOs? There are other instances. Now, these occur later during the flap, after everybody has heard the stories, after people have speculated about a connection between UFOs and Bigfoot. There's an instance of a witness reporting a Bigfoot running, carrying a glowing orb. You get more instances of Bigfoots vanishing, more instances of Bigfoots explicitly interacting with the UFOs. And nobody can really claim to have seen an interaction that explains fully the connections. Like, are the Bigfoots piloting the UFOs? Are these Wookiees? Are they some sort of creature that the UFOs use? They also find a lot of dung, which is funny when we start pretending they're spacefaring civilization. The Bigfoots poop in the woods.
Do they?
That's what they say. They find dung.
Okay, did we analyze that?
We did analyze that. Let me take a look at that. So, we tested a hair sample, tentatively identified as human. We tested a second hair sample. Now, keep in mind, this is 1973. We're not doing like DNA on this. Positively identified as human. Hair sample 3, found near a mine shaft. The Bigfoots also seem to be using our abandoned mines. They're found near the mines. Fortunately, people didn't go into the mines because that's actually like a good way to die.
What?
But the Bigfoots might be in there.
Well, let's go in there. Why haven't we gone in there, Ben?
They might collapse. Also, they're filled with toxic water sometimes.
Well, you gotta win. Look, if you are in the
WCU-FOSG.
yeah, if you're in that club, you gotta be prepared to put it all on the line.
You do not have to be prepared to put it all on the line.
That's why you haven't found a Bigfoot.
Hair sample number 3. This bunch of hairs intrigued the researcher. He spent a lot of time on them. The results: they are the hair of a cow, probably a Holstein. Hair sample number 4. This matted mass of light-colored hairs had a strong fecal odor to it. I am certain this was part of feces. I positively identified it as a cat.
Okay. All right. You win some, you lose some.
Feces sample. This highly comminuted, I guess powdery, pulverized sample contained a claw bone and some metatarsal bones that I tentatively identified as coming from a chicken or a pheasant. There were also a great many chitinous remains of unidentified insects. The stool is suggestive of a skunk or raccoon. All other fecal samples were inconclusive. And this is where they say that the blood they found was saliva, and it appeared to be from a bear that had been eating apples. They were able to identify.
But why was the bear eating apples, Ben?
Well, there's another interesting thing that Bigfoot also eats a lot of apples.
So
Bigfoot also kind of looks.
Bear.
He also kind of looks like a bear standing on 2 legs. But these people have lived in PA. They have hunted their whole lives, and they know what they saw. And it wasn't any bear with mange. Okay? It was a 6 to 8 foot tall ape with glowing red or maybe green eyes that possibly flies or resides in a UFO.
Yeah. But not those flying saucers. That's the New Mexico Bigfoots.
Can I show you a rendering of one of the Bigfoots? An expert sketch?
Sure. That's like your uncle or something, right?
I am a little offended by how much the Bigfoot looks like me, yes.
You got to keep the glasses, Ben.
It's the only thing. It's the only thing humanizing me. Yeah. Well, that goes to my like feral people theory. How about this one?
This is a real picture of a Bigfoot, all white, shooting a laser out of his pill capsule flying machine.
How about
that? Looks like nothing. What is that?
that's
like a puddle on the ground?
It's a UFO we couldn't explain.
It looks like you're looking out of the clearing of a forest and there's trees on all sides and you're looking at the sky.
There's many different stories I could pull out and read to you. But unfortunately, the results were not conclusive. And I kind of weirdly, or maybe not weirdly, as 1974 rolled on, Bigfoot sightings dropped off almost entirely. UFO sightings continued, but they decreased by a significant amount. And there's really never been a similar resurgence. It seems like whatever happened in that summer winter of 1973 was unique.
Yeah, that was the only time that their time machine allowed them to come to, and now that it's passed.
Stan Gordon wonders if maybe there was something that conditions were right for the Bigfoot to cross,
like how the bubonic plague conditions were just right to spread through all of Europe.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's not unlike the bubonic plague. There's one thing Stan would like to point out, and that is he's aware of how this sounds. Okay? He knows that he is reporting on a phenomenon that is the worst of both worlds. The mainstream is not going to take this seriously because he's mentioning the words UFO and Bigfoot. The UFO people are not going to take this seriously because he's mentioning Bigfoot. The Bigfoot people are not going to take this seriously because he's mentioning UFOs.
He's also saying there's no evidence. Everything has come back inconclusive.
But what he will say is there was something to this. There were a lot of people who he does not think were lying, who were legitimately shaken up by what they saw, who did not seek attention, insisted he not give their real names. They did not try to get rich off of it. They did not try to even get local fame. They really just wanted answers. And he investigated to the best of his ability with the equipment and the personnel that he had. And unfortunately, it came up inconclusive. But he believes it is worth investigating. And I can kind of, like, all joking aside, I can kind of get behind that. That's actually an attitude I wish more people in this space would take, of some weird shit's happening. Let's gather all the information about it we can. and then see what might explain it. And if the results don't come back the way we want them to, well, we can have a little bit of fun proposing like interdimensional Bigfoot theory, but like
Interdimensional Bigfoot theory.
but maybe there was something else. Like maybe there was like if it was bears, why are bears walking on two legs? I mean, they could be.
Bears want to air out their dongles. They don't want to keep dragging it on the ground, Ben.
Well, I mean, is there something about bear behavior we don't know? Is there
No,
like
we know everything there is to know about bears.
there's something weird going on, and it scared people, and they wanted answers, and
We had none.
and well,
and
the cops
now-
weren't going to investigate it because it's
Not our problem.
well, quite frankly, they're not qualified. I mean, what if it is bears or
We
something?
need the American military.
I think
They'll
there's-
get a body.
I think there are worse ways to spend your time than investigating weird mysteries in your local area with an open mind and a little bit of professionalism and integrity, and then documenting them. I think you could do worse than Stan Gordon. I think he's an okay guy. And
Yeah, it sounds like he did legitimately
yeah.
try, and he didn't just immediately jump to, and it's Bigfoot.
No.
We
and
did it, boys.
I think, like he said, he just wanted to be able to present this information to the community most likely to care about it without, being ridiculed. And I think that's reasonable. I think, believe it or not, I think I would recommend, if you're into Bigfoot and stuff, I would recommend checking out Silent Invasion, the Pennsylvania UFO-Bigfoot Casebook by Stan Gordon.
Wow.
It is boring. I'm gonna warn you there, but I like that. I like it when these things are
It's
boring.
not trying to be sexy.
It's not, because if it's exciting, it's probably lying to you. Because the natural world, you got to work to make it exciting. You got to do tricks with your brain to pretend it's exciting. That's why we all stare at our phones all the time. So, let it be boring. Let it be a lot of dense information that you got to parse. I think it's kind of weird that so many people, like before the news reported on it, saw a three-toed thing with pointed ears and glowing red eyes, because that doesn't match the cultural conception of Bigfoot. So that's weird.
Yeah. But now we know that is the cultural conception of specifically Pennsylvania Bigfoot.
Once it became, and again, once the news starts running with it, the sightings explode and they get weirder and more over the top. And I do sort of start to question.
The news was a beacon of truth and justice and hope back in the day, Ben. How dare you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just the problem is, Stan, he did actually do one interesting thing. The WC UFOSG did. A couple of the members saw the creature, and they immediately, the one guy, like they all saw the creature at the same time. And the dude was like, everybody shut up. Nobody talk about it. We're going right back to the office. I want everybody to write down what you saw. Don't influence each other. We're not going to talk about it. We're going to each write down what we saw, and then we'll compare notes. And I thought that showed a good amount of awareness on their part that eyewitness testimony is unreliable. They were doing their best to not just rely on their personal experience. And so I really think that's there's some good work going on here. Maybe they spent a little, it could be that they spent a lot of their summer, investigating some teenager's three-toed stupid Bigfoot mold.
That was the real, event that did it, Ben. The teenager got bored and Had to go back to school.
He graduated.
He graduated.
had to retire the costume. Probably got sick of being shot at. I would say this: if you're gonna fake Bigfoot in PA, you're taking your goddamn life in your hands. A lot of drunk people are gonna shoot at you. So at least one of them's gonna hit you. But yeah, I think that's it. And so with that, we have reached the end of our episode. We have reached the end of Ben's horror bullshit month. And do you want to give any preview of what comes next?
No, I don't, Ben.
I want it to hit you out of nowhere. All right. Well, with that, then I am going to thank our patrons. Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World as an Anime Podcaster podcast. Jamie, the Gravy Man of the If You Want the Gravy blog. Jonald Bierce, actual author of The Rack, The Mage Errant, and More Gods Than Stars.
Jacob Lansky, doing whatever the fuck he wants. Ben.
And Spooky Shy with a Y. Technically part of the podcast. I don't know if that still gets you a shout out. I think you might just be an employee now who's giving back some of their paycheck. But you do.
You're a reverse employee. You pay in order to work here.
Yeah.
That's gonna be that's the future of the
future of
man.
Internships. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Later.